Hey guys, how you guys doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at NixOS. I'm going to teach you guys exactly how to install it. I'm also going to go in depth as to what on earth is NixOS. Don't worry, I got you covered. Stay tuned. So, what is NixOS? Well, NixOS is a Linux distribution. It's kind of got a twist in it, really. It's not like your traditional distributions like Ubuntu or Fedora. It sets itself apart because it's got a very unique approach to the package management systems and the management of itself, in and of itself, completely. You might be familiar with NixOS as Nix, the package manager that came along. It was very popular. People were using it, but the reality is it's a purely functional package manager. It is designed to go with the Nix OS. You might be asking yourself, what exactly is a functional package manager? Well, imagine this. Nix treats your entire system as a snapshot. That's right. Some people may refer to it as immutable. To me, it's immutable-ish because a truly immutable distro does not let you edit the global files. You can only edit stuff in userland. Whereas Nix, you can actually go into the Nix store files, which is where all your global applications that are installed are. All your settings are there for for actual Nix packages and stuff like that. So what it does also is it takes in when you install any new packages, it'll or make any kind of system changes. Nix will alter your existing packages and it'll create a new snapshot that contains the updated state. So that way, when you go and you boot into it from Grub, you'll see where it's got NixOS, kind of like you would with your LTS kernel or kernel that you're wanting to install or load in. And then below that will be other Nix configurations. From there, you could drop down and select your latest distribution that you made changes to, or the old, no, sorry, it depends on which command you give. Clarifying, if you give it the rebuild command, then it'll automatically load the new one that you just created as the primary one to load into, and your old one will be a backup one that you can roll back to. Now, if you give it the test command, then when you rebuild it in test, then it will only allow it to run as test. It won't set it as the default one to load into. That's pretty cool. Nix has been termed as being a declarative OS. Let's talk a little bit about declarative configuration. NixOS takes the concept of a system configuration to a whole new level. With traditional distros, you might find yourself tweaking and modifying countless different configuration files throughout your entire file systems, right? Well, with NixOS, it just simplifies all that chaos by making it in one central place in the actual Nix configuration, .nix. It's actually configuration.nix file, which is in your Etsy folder. So this configuration file describes your entire system setup from user accounts to packages that you have installed on there, network settings, include host names, everything that you want, even desktop managers, whatever desktop environment you want to actually have in there. It actually has a version control on there and is in that file in one spot. So that is the most efficient way, I believe, to handle an actual operating system if you put everything that you need right there. Now, some people don't like NixOS because they don't. I think it's because they can't wrap their head around the concept of just one configuration file ruling it all, being the king of it all. But the reality of it is it's actually great once you boil it down. At first, I didn't like it either, and it took me a minute to understand the concept of it. But once I got the concept of it, which takes me all about a few seconds, I wouldn't say a few seconds, a couple days or whatever, but pretty quickly, you get it pretty quickly, and it's like, oh, wow, this is where I go. And right next to it is your actual hardware configuration file too. So everything you need where you can do kernel modules and that kind of stuff is right in there. So really, I mean, everything you need is right there in one folder. You don't have to remember which folder's what in or whatever. It all is right there. So Nix also has been termed as the reproducible distro as well. That that's a cool concept too, because you've had that frustrating feeling when you try to set up your own system on a new machine and share it with someone else, only to encounter that compatibility was an issue or missing dependencies. Well, Nix doesn't play that way. Thanks to its purely functional nature, you can recreate the exact same system that you created on your hardware on another environment on any machine effortlessly. No more dependency headaches, because when you go into the package section and put what packages you want, it pulls it right from the Nix repository. So they're all the same packages, everything. It's no dependency hell. It's great. Unlike you try doing that with Arch, or the AUR, you're going to find broken packages left, right, and center. So that's a positive as well. Another standout feature for Nix is the atomic upgrades and rollbacks. As I said, the rollbacks before are, where you can actually roll it back very easily at just boot. You know what I mean? In fact, I was toying around with the last time I played with Nix months and months ago, because Oglo the nerd had talked me into doing this, and he wasn't wrong. It is fantastic. It was just hard for me to grasp because I couldn't wrap my head around it until I read some more about it. But I had borked it. I'd borked it pretty bad, and all I had to do was reboot, and I rolled back to the existing one before I borked it, and it was all there. So I was able to make some changes, save it, and run with it, and I was good to go. That's how I learned how to play with it. But I haven't played with it since. I've been busy doing other stuff. So now I'm going to roll back in the Nix and see about playing with it some more. Now, that was kind of a cool thing, man, because when I broke it, it was actually in a non-bootable state. But Nix turned that into a very easily solvable rollback thing, way better than BTRFS Assistant or Snapper. Just instant. Boom. It was great. So don't worry about it, man. If something happens, you could just simply do your upgrade, whatever it is. If it borks it, you're just back to it. You're good to go. So now let's go ahead and roll into actually what it is to install Nix. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here is NixOS. I have it frozen in my virtual manager. We're going to start the install from here. So as you can see, I am at the boot screen where you select the install that you want to run, which is going to be the Nix installer. And we're going to go forward with that. It takes a few minutes. I will pause, and when we get to the installer, I'll resume it again. Okay, so here it is. It booted right into the Nix installer. So here it's using, as you can see, Calamares. We're going to click next. And of course, it makes it bigger. American English is what I'm going to look for. Yep. Los Angeles is not where I live, but it's in the right time zone. Default is English keyboard. Yep. And now I'm going to enter my credentials. So, and I'm going to give it a, I'm pretty sure the most difficult password in the world that you can guess. And we are going to use the same password as root, and we're not going to require strong and complicated passwords because who needs them anyhow, right? I'm going to click next. And now here, even though you download the recommended ISO of Nix being GNOME, you do not have to install GNOME. You could select GNOME, Plasma, XFCE, Pantheon, Cinnamon, Mate, Enlightenment, LXQT, Budgie, Dpen, and no desktop at all. Now, I am going to go with, let's see, where does the mouse stop? The mouse can stop, right? Let's do XFCE. What the heck? So we're going to go to XFCE, and actually, you know what? Let's go to Plasma. What the heck? Go to Plasma. We are going to go to next. Now we're going to allow unfree software. You could read this, and it explains to you that it installs basically like your codecs and that kind of stuff. The same thing as Debian does for the restricted codecs and stuff like that. So we're going to hit next, and we're going to erase the entire disk, and we're going to hit next. Then we're going to go to a summary, which is going to tell us everything it's going to do, and we're going to hit yes. And now we're installing NixOS. You can hit this toggle here to see what it's doing, which is pretty awesome. Right now, it's going to start downloading and installing the whole entire Nix software from online. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video, and when it's done, we'll resume. And as you can see, it's in Python. It uses Python to run the script that it's doing. So That's kind of cool. I just thought I'd point that out. As you can see, this is Python job right here, so it's kind of cool. Also, if you note the Nix store, C/Nix-store, that's the global directory where all of these things are being written. And that's what makes the global or atomic update happen. It goes to that directory. So that's what makes it immutable, is it keeps that segregated and separated away from userland stuff. Still installing, but we're getting there. If you totally don't care about the desktop environment, then pick something smaller than Plasma. Unlike me, I picked Plasma, which is one of the biggest ones because it has so many packages that it's installing them. So I'm still waiting, but we'll get in there. Okay, it is all done. So we're going to click the Restart Now button and hit done, and we're going to reboot and log right in. Let's see how much faster this logs in. Should be pretty instant, pretty quick. See here, this is what I was talking about. You got the NixOS, which is the default one, and then this is the one where your rollback will be. Like this is a rollback of the install one. All you do is hit escape, you go back, hit NixOS. I like the one you want, and you're good to go. And now we're logging in. And here we are. Getting ready to go into our login manager right here. So we're going to put in our password. And of course, we're going to mess with our settings here to get our display resolution correct and everything. Now, for me to like install like a different desktop manager like Hyperland or something like that, it won't load in a VM very well. So I'll just show you how to install a package real quickly, and then we can play with that later. I'm going to change to the Breeze Dark theme. Hit apply. We're going to go to display monitor. We're going to hit the old 1920 by 1080. We are going to keep these settings, and we're going to be extremely happy with what we got going on. And now we have a fully up and running NixOS KDE desktop environment installed. Now, you can go through and mess with whatever you want, okay, in here. Right here's the NixOS manual, which you click on it, and it will be opening up in Firefox. As you can see right here, we'll go ahead and make that bigger for you, and we'll see about increasing the size. Okay, so here is the user manual where you can go for obtaining Nix, installing, configuration. Now, this is going to tell you right where all your stuff is and how to configure all of this stuff. From Wayland, it tells you how to enable Wayland, which is very simple, or Sway, whichever one you want, sorry, to actually package management and how you do the declarative, like right here, see declarative package management. And this is what you do. So now let's go find this file, which is in your Etsy directory. So let's go ahead and close out of Firefox. And we're going to open up Dolphin. And we're going to make this big. And we're going to go to the main drive. We're going to go to Etsy. And then, or etc, I don't care. We're going to go to NixOS, which is going to be right here. And here are your two configuration files. This is the only place you need to go to on this operating system to do any kind of configuration. That's it. Crazy, I know. So what you want to do is you want to right click on it, open as administrator. Otherwise, you're going to actually have to use Vim or whichever, VI to do it. So, and then we're going to give our password. And now we're going to click on this, and we're going to open it with Kate, which is their actual KDE's text editor. And we're going to give it our password to allow it to do that. And now we have this completely. We can close out of this. We're going to open this, and let's make this bigger so you can read it. So this is the configuration file where you're going to want to play at, and you're going to do everything. So like right here, as you can see the way they've got it sectioned off. Your bootloader, all it needs to do with it is right here. Your networking host name. Here's where you would change your host name to, like I would do ELT Nix. Okay. Then you've got your networking manager right here, your time zone, your locales. You're not really going to mess with any of that, but it's right there. Now, here's where you can enable your X11. Okay, here's your desktop environment right here, which to enable Hyperland or a Wayland one, all you got to do is go down here to where your here's where your printing services are and your actual Pipewire audio and a Pulse audio as would be here. But so you want to go down here to right here where your packages are, right? And in your user, and right before your packages here, you're going to want to put in after this one here is where you want to put in your Hyperland session, whichever you or swear, whatever, which you can get the command for doing that here. Now say you want to, as you can see, it's got Firefox and Kate installed, right? Outside of the base packages that are already there, Firefox, Eliza, just the basic ones that come with Plasma. So now say we want to add OBS Studio. All you do is you type in OBS, and of course it's the package name Studio. In the documentation, it also allows you, there's a command that you can give in terminal that will actually browse the packages and tell you what the package names are. So let's say we want to do OBS Studio, and let's do MPV. Ooh, MPV. There we go. So now that is done. So that's all you got to do. So now all you got to do is you got to save it, right? And you are good as gone. Let's do that again to make sure we saved it. Could have hit Control S2. We want to. So we're going to hit that and we're going to quit. So now we got to go to the package, the Nix manual, and do the command again. Okay, so I scrolled past it, but I found it. It is in changing the configuration right here. You click on here, and this tells you right here. This is the command you want to give it: rebuild switch. Okay, or you could do rebuild switch, and you give it different flags for tests, so it doesn't make it the one that is the default one. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to do rebuild switch. We're going to just basically copy that into a terminal. We're just move that here so you can see. I hit enter, and of course, because we're doing that, we got to give it RIP privileges. Make this big for you so you can see what it's doing. And right now it's rebuilding the system configuration. It's building Nix. And then it's going to set it as the default. Right now it's downloading everything that it needed for OBS and MPV and all that good stuff from the Nix package management system. When it's done, I will resume the video. All right, it finished right now. So now, if we reboot, we'll go ahead and close out of this. We'll see that we'll have installed, if I hit this now. So actually, if we go to all the, oh, too late. When we reboot, you'll see that we've installed MPV and OBS. So we're going to give it a password. And so now, if we go to multimedia, there's OBS and there's MPV media player right there. So that is how you install NixOS, what NixOS is all about, and how you actually rebuild it and log into the new rebuild session. And in the other NixOS other configurations, that's where you can roll back to the original install of where it didn't have MPV or OBS on there. So, guys, that's a look at NixOS. I'll be playing with the config in a little while. I'm going to do some videos on how to do the configurations of installing a different, desktop environment in there, like Hyperland or whatever. But it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. The manuals work well. There's tons of videos out there. Let me know what you guys think down below. Leave a comment. Please tell me what you know about Nix. If you do know about Nix, also what I should try on there. Like I said, I'm starting to play with it, so I've never really dived into it other than what Oglo had me do in the beginning. So, but other than that, that's it. Either way, guys, don't be afraid to hit the thumbs up button, like and comment. Also, keep doing what you do. Keep on Linuxing. Stay blessed. Stay happy. And I will see you in the very next one. I'd also like to thank our producer for the channel, which is Sprungles, and he's also our editor, and he's also the channel moderator in all of our podcasts. Thanks, Sprungles, for all that you do. And also the Swedish Linux. He's our newest member.